How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Grave Halloween. This is from 2013. It originally came out on the SyFy Channel and is directed by Steve R Monroe, who is probably best known for the I Spit on Your Grave remake, but apparently made a bunch of Christmas movies as well. This movie stars Kaitlyn Leeb, Cassi Thomson, Graham Wardle, and Hiro Kanagawa. And this movie is, to be honest, barely a Halloween movie. The Halloween element is kind of happenstantial, and is really more the SyFy Channel trying to make a J-horror movie. That being said, it's not as bad as it sounds. The movie moves along at a pretty steady clip, has okay enough scares, and has a bit of a decent budget behind it. It's not terrible, but at the same time, this is definitely one of those movies that's kind of just there, you know? I don't really care about any of the characters. There's not really much of a plot. It's kind of just wandering around this forest and getting scared every so often. It's effective enough for what it is, but not really super memorable. But I guess in order to describe it better, what's the movie about? No spoilers. But what's the setup for this one? Basically in this movie, you get a bunch of American exchange students in Japan, and you get your main girl, who I believe is like half Japanese. She's estranged from her birth mother, and her adoptive parents live in San Francisco, so now she's moved back to Japan, and she has a bunch of film student friends. Well, it turns out her mother did that thing YouTube doesn't like me talking about. What can I say? Can I say committed self-termination? You see, she went to that forest, the one at the base of Mount Fuji where people are known for doing that. I believe it's pronounced the Okigara Forest. And there she passed away. However, you run into this kind of clunky plot element where the daughter gets a box from her, and the box has like a picture of this tree that is supposedly like where she'll find her mother's body, but they just found the box. Like the police that go in to retrieve the bodies somehow just found the box but not her, and they sent her the box in the mail, and now she's going to try to find her mother's body and take it out of the forest. There's apparently this ritual you can do that the day to do the ritual just so happens to fall on Halloween night. Yeah, like I said, this is a very happenstantial Halloween movie. In fact, there are these bully characters that come in just to be basically red shirts, and they also have to remind us like, oh, this is Halloween, we're pranking you, happy Halloween. There's some decorations in the university at the beginning, but to be honest, even though Halloween's in the title, this is really not super Halloween-y. But anyway, she has to go into the forest, retrieve her mother's body, and do this ritual to help her mother pass over. She has all of her film crew friends there, and she's agreed to let them film a documentary about this to sort of like honor her mother's memory. And the film crew will be the majority of the other main characters. And it is worth noting that this is not a found footage movie, but really feels like it was set up to be one. I mean, you have all this stuff with the film crew, and every now and then we'll get a point of view camera shot, but the rest of the movie, when they're wandering through the woods, getting lost and getting scared, it is so Blair Witch structured. And it really does feel like this was supposed to be a Blair Witch mockbuster, but I kind of feel like maybe they gave up on the found footage idea. Not sure if that was their original plan or not, but it really does feel like that. Anyway, though, they go into the forest, they meet the bully characters again, they're gonna prank them. They're also going to get periodically chased around by these cop characters who are trying to keep people out of the forest and collect the bodies. Even though you think just explaining the situation to them, they would let you go about your business, but apparently not. And then, of course, they're going to get the guide character, this older man who's there to sort of monitor the forest and make sure people respect the dead. And when he finds out she wants to do the ritual, will kind of like guide her to the spot in the forest from the photograph, but every now and then like disappear or give a vague warning. I think you get the gist of that. But most of the movie is wandering through this forest, and I think structurally speaking, it probably goes on for a bit too long. They do this sequence in a shed for a little bit that kinda shakes things up, but for the most part it's just wandering through the forest, and I wish it had been paced better because it does kind of go on a little long. It's basically one prolonged sequence broken up by characters getting separated from each other and having little scare sequences. Again, nothing super memorable, but every now and then we'll do a passable enough gag. Oh, I looked over at my friend, he had blood on his face, and then I looked away and looked back and it's all gone. You know, things like that. There is this whole mystery with the mother where, you know, she of course gets a little bit of a flashback to when she was a kid, and you know that more's going on here than they let on. But it's not a super well-developed mystery, and I don't really feel like I know or care about the characters too much. Yeah, there's enough budget in this movie. The movie looks good enough, the acting's fine, and in general you can tell they are trying, but it's wandering through this forest, getting cheap scares every so often, and not really having much going on or caring too terribly much about the characters. If you like the concept, I know there are like some true crime fans that are really obsessed with the real life forest. And if you're into that, I mean, like, the movie does have its moments every so often. Overall, though, this is a totally okay, lazy Saturday afternoon movie. Watch them run around and get scared by these ghosts. If you want to turn something on you don't have to care too much about, this is generally effective. It's just not great or anything. And again, it's barely a Halloween movie despite that being featured prominently in its title. Whatever. Passable enough, but nothing particularly great. Anyway though, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom if you guys want to see more videos kind of like this. You can click right here and see more. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Playlist here. Have a good day now.